Hey everyone. Last week I showed you the dirty cops behind the trial of Daniel Holtzclaw.
She says she had a gut feeling about what would become the biggest case of her career.
Now I can feel it in my bones.
Today I want to show you how Detective Dunstcap, also known as Kim Davis, and her buddy Rocky Gregory tricked the Black Lives Matter movement into helping two white cops get famous after they abused dozens of black women. And Black Lives Matter helped them get away with it.
I want the world to take notice of my case. I want the world to read in detail about my case, and I believe the judicial system failed me.
Hi, I'm Diana Davison, and this is Daniel Holtzclaw. He's currently serving 263 years in jail for crimes that he didn't commit. I'm going to be using clips from Michelle Malkin's investigation into the Daniel Holtzclaw conviction. If you haven't seen it, do so. Links are below. If Black Lives Matter wants something to be angry about, well, they should be furious with Detective Kim Davis and Rocky Gregory for using their movement to commit racialized crime and putting dozens of black women at risk for their own aggrandizement.
I can't have this guy running around Oklahoma City.
But somebody else can do it. I don't want to. I just want to leave it alone.
Since the shooting of Trayvon Martin in 2012 and George Zimmerman being found not guilty of murder in that case, protests and something called the Million Hoodie March began, and Oklahoma City, where our story takes place, had its own march. Look at them go. All the little hoodies all gathered together. You know, I find it very interesting when people dress for a protest in the very outfit that most stereotypes the group they represent. So we've got black people protesting the profiling of black people by, wearing hoodies. Kind of like having a bunch of feminists wearing pussy hats or even outright dressed up as giant twats to protest women being sexually objectified. Way to lock in those stereotypes. Well done, you morons. Okay, back to Black Lives Matter and how they got duped. Not only did Oklahoma City have a Million Hoodie March at almost the exact same time as the Trayvon Martin shooting, Oklahoma Police Captain Randy Trent Harrison shot a black kid named Dane Scott Jr. He shot him in the back while Dane was running away, unarmed. The prosecutor in this case was David Prater. Remember that name. Prater secured a conviction in November of 2013, avoiding any riots.
And there was much rejoicing.
Race relations in Oklahoma City is tense.
Now, Harrison was sentenced in February of 2014, and 4 months later, Daniel Holtzclaw was accused of sexually assaulting a black woman. Well, Kim Davis saw an opportunity to improve her undistinguished career. She retired shortly after, collecting her awards. On June 18th of 2014, a 57-year-old black woman complained that she'd been sexually assaulted by a police officer. Daniel Holtzclaw was the officer who'd pulled her over that morning. Oh gosh, look, she sure dressed up for this interview. Problem is, sexual assault kits showed no DNA to corroborate her claim, and no fingerprints on Daniel's police car where she said she was made to put her hands. Now, Liggins was not a prostitute. She wasn't a drug addict. She hadn't been convicted of anything. But somehow, that mysteriously became the profile for the victims that they wanted. And drug addicts they found. They even went to jail to interview some of them. Another woman, who's actually a schizophrenic drug addict, well, she'd complained about an officer sexually assaulting her about 3 weeks earlier. And it may have had something to do with the fact that they were there to arrest her. Well, Daniel Holtzclaw was nowhere near the place that this woman said she was assaulted. And Terry Morris said that her attacker was dark-skinned, but Davis realized that connecting them together would make for a much better story. Davis knew how to make black lives work for her.
But somebody else can do it. I don't want to. I just want to leave it alone.
Now, I said that these two numbskulls were abusing black women and getting away with it. Let me explain. They hauled in as many drug addicts and prostitutes as they could find, and coerced them into making false accusations.
He's having women do different things.
Oh, thinking they're going to go to jail if they do a favor for him, he wouldn't.
There you go.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Of course, making a false accusation is a crime.
If you cooperate, you know that I wouldn't go to jail. Cause I mean, y'all, even if he didn't even rape nobody or nothing.
And if their story wasn't good enough, the women were the ones at risk.
I don't think you watched the news entirely, or you would have known a lot more.
I don't watch it.
I'll be honest with you, you're in trouble.
No, please.
Yes, I guess she should have studied the news better. Or maybe just followed Rocky's hints better. Davis and Gregory exploited dozens of vulnerable black women in the commission of a crime, and I'll detail them individually in other videos. But until August 13th, 2014, they had only managed to procure 4 accusers. Now, you might remember that on August 9th of the same year, Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson. The first wave of protests and riots went for 2 weeks, August 9th to 25th, so things got hotter in Oklahoma. Between August 13th and 15th, Detective Dunstcap and Rocky Retard managed to bully 5 more accusers. Holtzclaw was arrested on August 21st and prosecuted by David Prater, who seems not to have cared that most of the accusers said their attacker was a short, black man.
Tell me your description of him.
He's black.
He's black male?
Like that?
So you think he's shorter than you?
Yeah.
But prosecutor David Prater knew how to play to the crowd. From news coverage, questions of race surrounded the trial. Holtzclaw is half white, half Japanese. All his accusers are black. The case was heard by an all-white jury. Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater said he'd sought a good cross-section of our community, but the defense attorneys had eliminated every potential black juror. Prater said he hopes people will see that his office and local law enforcement will stand up for anyone, no matter their race or background. Yes, Prater and the Keystone Cops played to the mob. Alright, let's get down from the crazy tree now. There was only one person they had any evidence for, a 17-year-old girl whose DNA, mixed with the DNA of an unknown male, was found on Holtzclaw's pants. And do you want to know what this girl is up to now? Well, she's busy attacking black men with a machete. I kid you not. When police arrived, a man said his landlord's daughter, 18-year-old Adara Gardner, came to his home and started swinging a machete at him. The alleged victim told police he tried to wrestle the machete away from Gardner, and she started screaming for help. Moments later, a man, later identified as 38-year-old Carrie Allen, came through the front door and started attacking the man. Well, we'll skip to the end. They both got arrested, and more on her later. David Prater, the prosecutor, lied to the jury and said the DNA came from this girl's vaginal wall. Actually, they don't know what part of her body it came from, but as it turns out, it was mingled with the DNA from another man. A man who is not Daniel Holtzclaw.
Oh, people lie.
Holtzclaw had stopped the girl twice that day, and the first time she was in the company of a male drug dealer. It's far more likely that he picked up the DNA during this encounter, hence why it was mixed with an unknown male.
Nice shooting.
My man.
I think it's time for Black Lives Matter to take off their hoodies so they can see the truth. They got played. Here's what Dunstcap Davis actually thinks about Black Lives Matter. Hang on to your hoodies.
This is popular right now.
Yeah.
The black versus white thing is popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and people grab hold of that, of the popular thing. In 2 years, something else is going to be popular.
Yep, to her it's just a fad. And a bunch of useful idiots. Oh yeah, one more thing. Black Lives Matter had another role to play to make sure they got a conviction. During the trial, they chanted so loud it disrupted the court. Jurors knew what was going on outside, and just in case they didn't, people were taking photographs of the jury members. 7 phones were confiscated, and it was noted in court that photos were being taken.